In this video, we find out what the cameraman scientist is hiding. What do these symbols mean? What improvements has the camera spider got? Who really is the toilet? Where did Gman get the new technology from? Why is Gman a traitor? And why there will be no fight between Gman and Astro Toilet. This and much more in this video. So make sure you watch it all the way to the end so you don't miss any interesting moments. And don't forget the tea and biscuits. All right, well, here we go. Hello everybody, it's Razmayak here. We've been waiting almost a whole month for episode 72. And now, finally, this Wednesday, Dafuk Boom published the continuation of Skibidi Toilet. And it was very interesting. We found so many details in this series, and also at the end I told you what will happen in the second part. Well, before that, let's get very many likes on this video. That's as many as we can get. This will be, so to speak, the record of our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell to not miss new videos. Well, now let's get started on this episode. And traditionally, let's see what Dafuk Boom left in the description under the video. Wow, it's been a while since we've seen this. Dafuk, besides the secret text, also left small references to the map where the storyline takes place, as well as to the models he used in this series. Well, let's read the text. It says that the scientist operator gets reinforcements. Very interesting. Maybe in analysis we'll find out what it's all about. Well, let's get on with the analysis of the episode. Series 72 was divided into two parts, and the first part starts from the end of Series 71. That is a continuation of the previous episode. Well, all the action in this series takes place on behalf of the scientist cameraman. Yes, the one from episode 48. Perhaps not everyone knows that in addition to the speakerman in black, Bungerman had another friend, and that friend was this cameraman scientist. In episode 48, we saw them fighting side by side and destroying toilets along with the Skibidi. But unfortunately, at the end of that episode, the Skibidi bilge split the cameraman scientist in two. After these events, we didn't notice him until episode 54. The camera scientist created himself an exoskeleton since he has nothing below the waist. And we can say that this is the first cyborg agent. By the way, remember this moment because I noticed a little gaffe from Dafuk Boom. I'll tell you right off the bat that it has to do with the cameraman scientist, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. So, when Plungerman died in episode 71, all agents learnt about this news, as each agent has his own personal tablet, through which they follow all the cameramen. Well, the camera scientist is no exception. If you look closely, you can see the inscription that this tablet belongs to cameraman scientist number 1337. Well, it's clear that Dafuk Boom wrote this number on purpose. It's usually associated with hackers. In short, it's a favorite number of internet users. Sometimes this number is translated as elite. After this news, the scientist is angry. Well, in this still image, you can see the scientist's cameraman control panel. There are 2 levers and 4 buttons. And then we see the same hybrid we saw in this leaked footage. Our theory turned out to be true. Who doesn't know what it's about, you can watch this video that appeared in the upper right-hand corner. And this Skibidi hybrid releases 2 missiles in the direction of the scientist. But it will not help him at all, because the scientist uses the same laser weapon, which appeared recently, namely from the second part of the 69th episode. Well, further on, the scientist's cameraman is attacked in turn by hybrid Skibidi toilets, but fortunately they are all destroyed, because the scientist has done a very good job on his suit. After the scientist pushes the hybrid toilet away, he finishes him off, but the attacks don't end there. As we can see, Skibidi toilets are waiting behind the scientist. Let's take a closer look at these toilets. There are at least 5 Skibidi toilets. Now, this 6th one is preparing to attack. And finally, here we have the hybrid toilet, the policeman, which was shown in the leaked footage. And by the way, our second theory also came true. Now, on his left hand, we notice a sickle. As I said in the previous video, this is a reference to the cartoon Puss in Boots, where the villain had exactly the same sickle, where there were crossed out lives. Dafuk most likely took the modeling from that cartoon. Well, or he recently watched this cartoon. After the hybrid sees that the scientist wants to shoot him, he decides to immediately attack the cameraman. In doing so, he destroys the control panel with his sickle. But here the scientist is lucky as something saved his life. And who might that be? Yes, the camera spider bursts onto the battlefield, the one from episode 13. We first saw this invention in this very episode. Let's take a look at how it's changed. This spider has been improved beyond recognition. The hybrid Skywalker is wounded and retreats. But next, another Skibidi toilet enters the battlefield and shoots at our enhanced spider. Because of the smoke, You can't see who's there at first, but then a man appears who looks a lot like General Shepard from the Call of Duty game. Be sure to post your opinion on this one in the comments. Shepard tries to destroy the spider camera, but as you can see, he fails. And the spider strikes back, but now, using his new weapon. And yes, you heard me. I even looked it up on the internet for you. If anything, it's the sound of snoring. And after Shepard has been destroyed, the camera scientist gives the spider a bark. By the way, interesting detail. The cameraman shows the barker with different hands. Next, we notice that all the Skibidi toilets have been destroyed, except for this Skibidi helicopter. Well, that too has just been destroyed by this spider. Next, the scientist pulls out a grenade wrapped in toilet paper. This is actual toilet paper, and it's the first time grenades of this kind have ever been used. We saw in the second part of episode 69, and the first time they were used in episode 70. And as you can see, this grenade has spread among the agents. Next, the scientist raises the sickle of this hybrid, and as I said in the previous videos, here are the symbols from the cartoon Puss in Boots. This hybrid is on the toilet cheering for reinforcements, led by Gman. Well, here he is. After the destruction of the scientist's Skibidi, all power, you could say, passed to Gman. Gman takes out the scientist and then everyone else. After that, he's attacked by a spider camera. But as we can see, Gman can't take any of those shots. So the spider uses a more powerful weapon. We notice that Gman has a new ability. He opens a shield in front of him, thus blocking this shot. This is the first time we've seen this kind of technology in episode 65. And now Gman has this technology. Next, Gman shoots at the spider's camera, but doesn't completely destroy it. And then we notice that the scientist's exoskeleton is broken, and he has to jump out of there to avoid exploding. Here's the moment I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Since the scientist has no legs, logically, he can't stand on his feet. And what do we notice here? The cameraman scientist somehow gets back on his feet. That's very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then we notice Gman's reinforcements, or rather troops, who already obey him. This little Skibidi Toilet reports something to Gman and then moves away from him. That's when the Astro Toilet shows up, destroys this toilet. And look how he destroys it. He uses his claw, then he twists it around, and somehow he blows it up. And then he says one phrase. The Astro Toilet warns that Gman knows what they do to traitors. But I get the feeling Gman doesn't care at all. Look at his face. Next, Astro Toilet continues his phrase. Well, after these phrases, G-Toilet activates all his laser cannons and aims them at Astro Toilet. But let me tell you right away, there will be no fight. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure. I'll explain why in a moment. But first, let's talk about why Astro Toilet and believe Gman is a traitor. It all started in episode 67, when the real Gman arrived on the battlefield, and after TV man Titan appeared there as well. Gman was immediately scared because he remembered episode 47. Well, that's why he ran away from the battlefield, because he didn't want to deal with TV man Titan. So Skibidi the scientist was left alone. It could even be deduced that Gman was the reason Skibidi the scientist was destroyed. What if Gman betrayed Skibidi the scientist on purpose to take his place? After all, look how perfectly it all works out. After Skibidi the scientist is destroyed, Gman immediately leaves the place and also takes the container with the scientist's inventions with him, and also takes command, and together with the toilets leaves the base. And after the Astro Tuplets found out about this betrayal, they started looking for him. Yes, that's right. They weren't looking for the container. They were looking for Gman. Now, it all makes sense. The Astro Tuplets have been collaborating with the Skibidi scientist, so they want to punish Gman for his betrayal. Well, now I'll explain why there won't be a fight between Gman and the Astro Tuplets. The thing is, the Titans will interfere at the last moment. When Gman wants to shoot Astro Toilet, the Titans will appear on the battlefield, since we clearly heard in episode 71 that they are going after Gman. But personally, I think that's what will happen in part 2. If you agree with this, write in the comments. And if you don't, write your opinion. I'd love to read your theories. Well, if you want to be the first to see the leaked footage, subscribe to our channel. And also, if you have some theory and want to share it, you can also write in the comments. If I like it, I will add you to the video. Well, you've been on the Razmeek channel, and the very first toilet named Razmeek was with you. I'll see you in other videos. Bye. And don't forget to check out the channel, the other analyses, they're also very interesting. All right now, bye for sure.